WB, what are y'all doing, bro? What are y'all doing over there? So, y'all know from the title, the Wonder Woman games being canceled, which if you followed my channel for a while, you know when they showed that first trailer, what was that, two and a half years ago? Something like it was a while ago. I remember I saw that trailer, the new Wolverine, it was the Black Panther and Captain America game, and another one I can't remember, but it was during that time when you first saw all those games. I told y'all this is something that's going to be amazing. It's what we need. You know, Batman Arkham series is great. Still need a Superman game like that, but also a Wonder Woman. To get the Trinity would be amazing. I'm a Wonder Woman fan. She's my favorite female superhero. I was excited, but I remember I had another video last year where I was like, where is this Wonder Woman game? Like, there's no trailers or nothing. And, you know, so people knew I was waiting for this game. This is something I was down for. Especially, I was down for the game. I was keep it short like that. Now it's been canceled. But what is going on with WB, bro? WB for a while has been, dude, messing up is not even the word. Not even oh man, bro. With Suicide Squad just insulting Batman, making a horrible game. We don't know if Injustice is ever coming back. The changes they're making, bro. WB movie wise, forget games. Movies have been up and down, but mostly down. And hopefully James Gunn can fix that. That's why, as much as a Zack Snyder fan I am, I'm still hoping, because the Zack Snyder universe, I've accepted it. I've made peace. As much as I'm a fan of his, I've made peace that it's not going to happen. The Ben Affleck, all them gotten older. To be real, his whole Justice League trilogy, if it stayed to plan, would should have been over by now. That's how long it's been. So I made peace that that's over. But as a DC fan, I want the next to succeed, like James Gunn. So I'm hoping he succeeds. But delays with Batman, so on and so forth. There's just so much. I mean, as personalized Mortal Kombat, we might not even get a Combat Pack 3. There's just so much in the WB realm that's just like, what is going on now? And I heard about this a few days ago about Wonder Woman. I just didn't believe it. You know, being on the internet, that's the one thing that's hard for me, is to accept certain information. Because there's a lot of, it looks like it's canceled, or, not just with games, but with people, influencers, movies, whatever. I ain't gonna front. Sometimes a lot of times it's hard for me to believe it until I actually see some real evidence. And yeah, this one, bro, this one hurt. This and Wolverine were the two games. I'm looking forward to the Black Panther and Captain America one, but not as much as Wolverine, who's one of my favorite Marvel heroes, and Wonder Woman, who's one of my favorite female superheroes. To see them in a game, bro. I used to play them old Wolverine games, so this is going to be nice to see it in this generation. But Wonder Woman, bro, never had that. I don't know, and I'm going to watch Penguin. He's one of those people that, excuse me, Penguinz0 is usually that kind of person. When he shares information, I usually believe. I don't agree with everything he says, but for the most, I rock with, his channel. And when I saw him having on his thumbnail, that's when it hit me that this stuff is real. I'm like, him and Asmongold, when both of them put it up, I was like, wait, no, it wasn't Asmongold, it was somebody else. I was like, bro, so that is real. I want to hear the breakdown of it, so I'm going to react to this video. But what is going on over there at WB Games, man? WB in general. Get it together, bro. Y'all have my favorite franchise over there, which is DC and Mortal Kombat. Let's see what's going on here. Shout out to him. I'll put the original video in the description below. Let's see what's up.
Garbage. Trash. Garbage.
Yes.
Rubbish.
Yes.
Waste.
Yes.
All words that can accurately describe Warner Bros.
That's waste is a great word. Because if you look at the history in the last 10 years with WB, how much time they wasted on useless projects. Like, I look at the Zack Snyder universe. Instead of just focusing on Zack Snyder's movies, Man of Steel 2, or that was Batman v Superman, but the Man of Steel after that. Ben Affleck's Batman story, stuff that involved that universe. They wasted time on the Shazam, Birds of Prey, this project, that you find out later that had nothing to do with the plan that was set. So you wasted our time on those. And I like Shazam, but those movies were terrible. You know, Birds of Prey was decent. I don't want to see that before the Ben Affleck Batman. It was just a lot of waste of time. When you see the games they made, instead of Suicide Squad, they could have put that time and focused on a Superman game. Or this Wonder Woman project. Another Batman Beyond. You know, man, thinking about it now, Batman Beyond would be amazing, bro. Woo! If done right, if it's made like the Arkham games, the same people, bro. Yes. That's what they should focus on is Batman Beyond. Thinking about it, man, just saying that got me excited, bro. But, and hearing also, isn't it WB who said no to the people who did the Spider-Verse movies, but they had I saw the artwork of the Batman Beyond idea they had, which looked amazing, and WB said no, right? Like, but instead they had these other projects that are just a waste of time. James Gunn, please do us right with the movies and TV show. The Commandos, I enjoy that. That's a good one. Penguin is a good one. But Batman's been anyway. But yes, when he said waste, that's the perfect word. A lot of waste. Think about it. If we could have removed the Shazam movies and instead put that time into Justice League 2, 3, we could see the ending. We could have. Let me just hit play because I can rant about that.
I've thrown many tomatoes at them, I know, but they just keep making it so easy. They're a spitball magnet. And it can really, a large part of it, be traced back to one decision, a patient zero, David Zaslav. Since he took over 4 years ago now, actually.
I don't know who that is.
It has just been so bad for that company. All he does really is cancel projects that are pretty close to finished, or just get rid of things that they already have. And I know Warner Bros. Was in a bad spot before. It was in a dark place before David Zaslav came in there with the knight in shining armor, with radiant sunbeams shining on him, potentially being their savior. But this would be like trying to cure alcoholism with heroin. Now, I have no doubt there are some shareholders that do view
That's
him
an interesting
as
way to look at it.
The cure to the disease of money loss that Warner Bros. Was afflicted with. Through his innovative strategy, his remarkable genius scheme of just getting rid of everything, just cutting everything Warner Bros. Has to squeeze some doubloons on the bottom line for the shareholders. It has worked for them, I suppose, at least based on what I can see. But on the grand scheme of things, his strategy has basically just been, hey, you're excited for that? Well, there's a good chance we're just going to can it right before it comes out. Or, hey, we finished this thing that you were excited for, but we decided not to release it because we're just going to go for a tax break on it instead. It's a fucking terrible strategy if you're anyone that likes
Let's just cancel
content.
the Batgirl
David
movie
Zaslav
that's already
is the
finished.
Opposite of King Midas.
I don't know how that movie would have been, to be real with you. It could have been bad. But let us decide. You already finished the movie. Put it on a streaming network like, what was it? HBO Max.
Ripe ass. Because everything he touches turns to ass instead of gold. He's got the cheese touch, and it has infected every part of this company. They are struck with the orb of confusion and can't break out. They just made the baffling decision to shut down Monolith Productions. You know, the studio behind beloved titles like Shadow of War and
Love
Shadow
that
of
game.
Mordor, with a highly anticipated Wonder Woman game still in the pipeline that, from my understanding, was pretty far along in development. They have now just
waste all that
out
money
and
developing
axed
it.
that company. Not just Monolith, they also shut down Player First Games as well as Warner Bros. San Diego. But Monolith is the most surprising one because everyone loves those games. And there's a lot of faith in Monolith.
I enjoyed those
company.
games.
So there was a lot of hype around this game that's been in development for a long time and now will never see the light of day. Much like a lot of other things Warner Bros. Has done. I've already talked about this a lot. There's no reason to regurgitate it, but I will briefly mention them just refusing to release Coyote vs. Acme even though it's completed.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's crazy.
That is I forgot about that. Because there was like I remember fans were voting, or it was something that was going on where fans was coming together saying, come on, can y'all release it? And if I remember something correctly, they was like, okay, we'll do it for HBO Max, but then wind up changing their mind. Something like this. I think this is the movie that they did that on. It was some WB project. I think it was this one.
And now it won't see the light of day unless it leaks somehow. But what this also means is they're burying the Nemesis system in the coffin with Monolith here. The Nemesis system is one of the most innovative systems we've seen in the last decade. It was a really cool feature that was present in Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, and Warner Bros. Patented it, which is why you haven't seen it outside of those two games. And the thought would be that they'd use it in their products because they own the patent, but no. Instead, they crossed arms and said, it's my toy to not play with. You can't touch it. It's mine to do nothing with. And now that they've killed Monolith, it truly is going to be something that they're going to do nothing with, I imagine. And that patent doesn't expire until 2036. It's so infuriating how dog shit Warner Bros. Is. Like, they're not even doing business, they're doing shitness. Like, I hate to keep bringing up things I've already talked about a lot in regards to this company, but Coyote vs. Acme, they finished that movie. It had like a $70-80 million budget. I can't quite recall.
Just wasted money.
Instead of releasing it, they just decided to claim a tax loss, which didn't recoup the budget or anything. It barely even made up for half of their total spend on the production in the first place. Great work, David. Big gold star for that one. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say, though, about gaming in general with Warner Bros. So the main goal with the structuring of Warner Bros.
I heard about this.
Studios is that they want to focus on 4 really powerful games, according to the lobotomite himself, David Zaslav. You know, really powerful games like Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, which lost them 200 million clams, by the way.
Plus,
and Rocksteady wasn't on the chopping block. I love Rocksteady for their previous work. I fucking hate Suicide Squad. Plus, that company doesn't have like the most important people at it from back in the day. I don't know if they'll turn it around, but Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was one of the worst games of 2024.
Yes.
And yet Monolith, who actually has majority bangers, heaters, and their last 2 games have been super heaters, somehow they're the ones that get axed? Okay, fucking make it make sense, David.
Yeah.
Now, what he's actually referring to is Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. Those are their key franchises on there. Even though I think this is super stupid to just marry your whole fucking development studios to just these 4 properties, I have said for a long time, I think the path forward for these studios is that they do a lot of smaller projects that don't cost as much or don't take as long to develop, and instead focus on being creative and unique. So that way, there's
making a new Batman game in Arkham Universe is going to make them millions if done right.
Like, there's, I think, significantly more potential in that as opposed to just making a fucking $200 million Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League loss. But anyway, here's the statement in its entirety. We've had to make some very difficult decisions to structure our development studios and investments around building the best games possible with our key franchises. You've already failed. You haven't made the best games possible in a long, long time. Than Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. After careful consideration, we are closing 3 of our development studios, Monolith, Player First Games, and Warner Bros. San Diego. This is a strategic change in direction and not a reflection of these teams or the talent that consists within them. The development of Monolith's Wonder Woman video game will not move forward. You know, interestingly enough, Wonder Woman's a DC game, huh? From a beloved developer. Why didn't that make it? I mean, it's part of your key franchise approach. What is this strategic?
They probably should just said Batman.
To only put these
maybe that's why
in the hands of the worst developers. Like, I don't.
Maybe when they say DC, they probably just mean Batman, which I would hate because I want to see a Superman game too.
Talented with a lot of faith in their brand, and you gave them a DC property, which you're saying is your key franchise. So why would you take them off of that? In order to instead have Rocksteady work on another super stinker. Like, it's not like Monolith was working on something obscure no one knows, you know, like Dino Custodians, Janitors in Space, Prehistoric Plowing.
Janitors in Space.
It's a well-known IP with an extremely well-known developer that people love. It just doesn't make sense. Our hope was to give players and fans...
Did Monolith ever make a bad game?
The iconic character, and unfortunately this is no longer possible within our strategic
I don't think
priorities.
So.
And I think this is all code.
But wait, hold on. I think they only made 3.
We couldn't
I can't remember.
Our community enough, so we had to let them go. We couldn't find ways of monetizing Wonder Woman to the same inefficient level as Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is another tough decision, as we recognize Monolith's storied history of delivering epic fan experiences through amazing games. We greatly admire the passion of the 3 teams and thank every employee for their contributions. As difficult as today is, we remain focused on and excited about getting back to producing high-quality games for our passionate fans and developed by our world-class studios and getting our games business back to profitability and growth in 2025 and beyond. You imbecile. David Zaslav's brain is so fascinating because it really feels like it's been wired incorrectly. Like there were some screws loose and then it got put back together and the neural pathways were all cattywampus. Because it seems he lacks a fundamental understanding of what growth means in gaming here. Typically, you wouldn't want to cut your most talented developer working on a huge IP before it releases.
You think?
That doesn't seem smart. Now you've just eaten a huge loss.
I mean, I'm not saying that to him.
And that
I'm just saying, you know, on WB, like, you think that would be smart.
It just seems like a stupid decision, especially when your key strategic plan is to focus on one of the IPs that your most talented developer was working on. So now you're going to take that same IP and just give it to a most likely worse developer. How are you growing? You've downsized, sure. You've effectively downsized, and now you'll stop spending money on the salary of all the developers that you just fired. But you didn't grow. You stayed in the same spot, just squeezed a couple extra pennies out by firing so many people.
You downgrade, but
and now you don't even have a game to show for it for all this loss that you've just eaten.
Because what's coming out from WB anytime soon?
I just think it's a terrible decision, and
Nothing,
I hate
right?
the David Zaslav strategy to everything of just get rid of everything, and if we're not spending
That's
any
always
money,
not the
that means
best
we're not
move.
losing any money. I hate it. I really don't like it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, especially because I love Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. And the fact that we're not going to see anything else from Monolith now, and let's say like pie in the sky, Monolith gets to stay together, someone else takes the entire team intact and they work on something, well, they still can't use the Nemesis system they created because Warner Bros. Owns the patent, at least to my understanding. So yeah, Warner Bros.
It might be
is
something
trash.
better for them.
That's about it. See ya.
Might be something better from. Hope the best for that company, but yeah, it's just because you downsize don't mean you're gonna make a profit. If you don't learn from your mistakes, and trust me, having those other studios is not a mistake. That's not the problem. If you don't learn from the real issues you be having, you're gonna still lose you can still lose money, and it's gonna be the same amount as if you had those other companies, and that's what's gonna be a real staker. Because you think, oh, downside is gonna save me money, then you realize, oh shoot, I'm still failing because I still haven't learned, and I'm losing just as much as I did when I had them, maybe even more. So, just hearing that Wonder Woman thing, every year, like last year, I had a video talking about, not specifically just talking about that, but I ain't gonna say rant, but I had a passionate conversation like, where are these games? And Marvel, I still wonder that too with Captain America, Black Panther, and Wolverine. Like, what's going on with them? I heard Blaze game is getting delayed, got delayed, but as a DC fan, like especially with the movies, I was at the point where I'm like, Disney, can you buy DC and have DC and Marvel? I wouldn't care. Yes, Disney's had their issues with Marvel, but overall, they've been great. Overall, in my opinion, yes, they've had their issues, like when they had Star Wars, the stuff they was adding to it, but now we're saying that they learned their lesson. I'm assuming they're going back to the way it's supposed to be. But if I had to choose between DC going to Disney or staying with WB, I've been said this. I was like, I wish they went to Disney. DC went to Disney because I know for a fact that they would have let Zack Snyder finish. They would not have interrupted that. They probably would have worked harder to get more projects in, but they still would have focused on that, made the Flash movie that they actually wanted to make. You can look that up. The movie Flash, even though in my opinion wasn't that bad, I actually enjoyed it, but it was another plot, which I believe which did tie into Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, they would have let him finish it regardless of some of the backlash that some of the movies had with Batman v Superman, so on and so forth. There wouldn't have been a Joss Whedon Justice League. There would have been Zack Snyder's, and they let him do it. Let him finish it and take the break. I know he had to take a break. That's why Joss Whedon did it. But none of that would have ever happened. And Disney would have just kept going, because that's one thing I always would respect with Disney when it came to Marvel. All their movies did not do well. That's the one thing. People said all Marvel movies were great. No, they was not. And I'm not even talking about after Endgame. Before Endgame, I remember the first Thor and the second Thor did not get a lot of love. The second and third Iron Man did not get a lot of love. You know, I thought they was okay. I like Ragnarok better in Thor, and I like the first Iron Man better. But one thing I respect of Disney was they kept going. I think it was Kevin Feige that said, one thing we did was we saw what didn't work, and we was like, okay, let's fix some things. Let's just put some tweaks. We're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna put some little tweaks on it. That is what I like. You're like, okay, let's not just stop and make these other projects. And now it's taking so long where we're just letting James Gunn take over and just start over. No, they kept going. I know for a fact if DC was if DC was under Disney's control, we would have had the whole trilogy of the Justice League. We would have had Man of Steel, another one with Henry Cavill. Probably have Supergirl and Brainiac in that movie, because that's what I heard. The new project with Henry Cavill, his own Superman movie was going to be Supergirl and Brainiac. Oh, think about that. What we missed out on. We missed out on a great dark side. Something that we never got before. The best Batman. Probably not the best Bruce Wayne to some people. I like the best Bruce Wayne, but he's the greatest Batman. I'm not arguing with nobody. That's the greatest Batman. That's Arkham and Batman animated series Batman. But I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman 1984 would have never happened. They would have continued off the energy of the first one. Shazam probably would have never happened unless they did it to where The Rock's Black Adam, Shazam, and Henry Cavill was all in one movie on the first one. Because I always said that was their problem with Shazam. They didn't start off strong. You start off by having Shazam as a kid before he turned Shazam, and you have Black Adam trying to kill him, and the kid happens to be somewhere Superman is, and we know that story, but they didn't do that. And then the second one, they still didn't do it. I never understood that, how the first one you let it slide, the second one was like, huh? But I don't know. Maybe I'm giving Disney too much credit. I don't know. I just know that regardless of some movies that people liked and didn't like with Marvel, they kept going and gave us Infinity War and Endgame. Anyway, WB, what are y'all doing over there? I'll put his original video description below. Yeah, you see that face he has? Yeah, I'm with that. That's me. Anyway, let me know in the comment section what you feel about it. And at this point, when it comes to these games, and I feel this way with movies too, if I hear it's coming out next year and over, I'm not even thinking about it, because it could be canceled. If I don't hear it's coming out this year, I'm not gonna put too much thought into it. It's like, yeah, we'll see. I'm still waiting on Batman 2. That came out 3-some years ago. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm just a hurt DC fan. I like Marvel, but I'm more of a DC fan, so this stuff stinks. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see you later.